Hello, everybody. I hope you're doing well. I really wanted to jump on today to talk about why this time around, which we were, told by Spirit that this is the end of the movie. It's not the sequel. It's the end of this movie, and we've also been told that this was a much rockier, but a shorter path to where we want to be. Um, and so with that in mind, though, I want to talk about some of the reasons why it's so difficult right now, why it's so hard. I had a really bad day on Tuesday, um, reading about this Garcia case, um, understanding fully what this place in El Salvador is like, that there are people that are uh, innocent people going there. And to be fair, I'm in the camp of I don't care if these people are criminals. If they're here, they need to have due process. That's the point, right? That's the point, is that we don't have a system set up for the good people and the bad people. It's all the same. And bad is there are lots of reasons why people go down certain paths. And in my view, I maybe, I'm speaking from a spiritual standpoint. We don't need to judge. We can't really judge unless you've been in someone's shoes their whole life. That's where I'm coming from, but I also believe in the idea and the ideals of the United States that everybody gets a fair shake in the court system, right? We know that's not the case. We know that, that the rich apparently have a golden key and they can get out and do whatever they want. We know this, but that's the ideal that I think we should at least shoot for, aim for. With that being said, I had a bad day on Tuesday. Let's just call it a bad day. And my the question to my guides was, why is this so hard? Why is this so hard? And I know that we're all tired and we're worn down. And I know that the best course of action is to detach as much as possible and allow things to play out when we really, there's nothing we can do, to be able to detach and allow and kind of surrender. But there are things we can fix and we can change and we can make a difference, right? And so being able to recognize what those things are is a lot of this. But I did pose that question, and a few things came to me that I thought might be of help. And I tread this line on the channel, and I've been very honest about it because I think that there are some channels that are very clear about I'm staying in the politics game and I'm going for it, and God bless them, right? That's where they are and where they I fall in a weird place, and I have to regardless of, because I can see, I'm not blind, I can see the numbers of of these channels that are just full steam ahead, and how well they're doing, which is fantastic. Like I said, I've said this over and over again. My guides told me early on, numbers and likes and things like that, it's a trap. And that if you're here to do what you're here to do, what you want to do is just help and deliver messages and encouragement and give spiritual teachings and help where I can, then you can't worry about that stuff. And you got to let that go. And so a long time ago, I let that go, but I can see, I have eyes to see, but I feel like even though my lanes is not laid out, it's not a clear lane, I guess, because I kind of talk about politics sometimes and then I don't a lot. So that I've got to stay where I feel is right for me. And I think it's very important that we have all different kinds of voices and ways that people are doing things because it appeals to different people. And I think that's the point, is just to reach people and help them with tools or things that might help. But I asked this question of why this is so damn hard. Why is this so hard? That we're the witness to all of this stuff and there's so little we can really do. And they answered in a very interesting way. And I had to kind of, and this is it's the rub, right? That we have to be in a certain place vibrationally to get answers and get information. Sometimes when we're down in the dumps, something will break through. But usually they'll use things that are outside of us, a video that comes up, or a person that calls us, or something we hear, over here out on the street, or it'll be kind of outside of us because we're not really reachable. And I was here by myself. I'm in an Airbnb in the UK. I was here by myself and just really struggling and struggling to understand. And a couple of the messages that came through were that, first of all, we're in a very in a unique time, in a very unique situation. And I shouldn't say unique because it will be this way, but we're new to it. And that is the ability to know what is going on all around the world, all of the time, in a place in history or in our media when bad news is very, very popular to share. It gets people coming back. Scary news is very popular and gets people to tune in or click, but in a matter of minutes, you can see all of the horrible things going on around the world. And then you just have to kind of sit with it. There's really not, you can comment, but in that situation, there's not a whole lot you can do. It's just on you now. And so that's part of it, is that we have this unprecedented access to information and negative information. It doesn't mean that's not true, but that's the emphasis. At least in a lot of places. There are things like the Good News Network, which I highly recommend. I get Heather, who's at our community, sending me stuff all the time, and I've subscribed. But there are things out there, and I really encourage you to because there's an equal amount, more than equal amount of good news out there. But our focus is kind of in this negativity because it's so available, because even when you're not looking for it and not wanting to hear it, something will pop up and you'll be like, what is that about? So there's that, and it can take you from 10 to 0 very quickly. And then this idea of being a witness, right? This witness in the world. I've asked over and over again, different people I've had on about this role of witness. And my guides have said it's a very, very important role because history is written, but can be biased. And it also, now we're finding out, right? People can just cut things out if they want to, not forever, but they can do stuff like that. That's just like cutting it out or painting a certain picture, or let's not focus on this, let's focus on this. So it's a very skewed, kind of reality in sometimes in history when you look back. But when you have living witnesses, that's different, because that you might read something and say, well, this is what it said, but I remember because I was there. That's a powerful thing. And so to realize that being a witness is a very important role, but it's a role with a lot of responsibility, right? Because you have to be willing to be a witness, to see what's going on. And that role of witness right now, especially in the United States, is getting harder and harder, because the role of witness too is not necessarily being able to do anything about it right away. So that's part of why this is so hard. And then you add in, if you are a sensitive person, which I think anybody watching this channel has a degree of sensitivity and compassion and kindness and all of those things. But if you're an empath, or on the empath spectrum, on there somewhere, because you can be kind of a lighter empath and an extreme or super empath. There's sometimes called super empaths. Then you've got this whole other thing where you're taking on the pain and the heartache and the hurt, and it's hard to know what to do with that. You can just feel it. And when you have these extreme cases and situations, it's so hard to let it go. It almost feels like a betrayal to let it go. When you feel that pain and that heartache, it almost feels like a betrayal to release that. It's almost like you have to hang on to it to be in solidarity or camaraderie with someone. At least that's the way empaths kind of feel sometimes. So, and there's guilt there for letting it go, or going on with your day, or being happy even though this is happening, right? So you've got that aspect as well, if you're sensitive or if you're an empath. So there's all of that going on, and those are some reasons why it seems so hard. So I asked the question, of course, what do we do? Because we cannot just be having all this stuff just pile on us. And they gave me a few things, right? Once they got through to me, because I'm telling you, I was down. And that's the other thing, is don't feel bad if you have down days. I feel like I'm pretty on top of my spirituality. I have a big toolbox, and I still have bad days. And that's the earth plane. That's your humanness. And that will come through sometimes, and it will be a stronger thing some days than other days. And it's very important when you have those down days, and this is just an aside, to try to stop the thinking, the story you're telling yourself, the things that are going on, and just feel the feelings. That's how you let it pass through you, rather than just get stuck where you're just going, and you've got all these feelings. And sometimes it feels like, but I need to think about this. I need to be part of this. I need to do this. I need to do something. And that's all I can do, is just be in this misery camaraderie with this person right now, or with their family or whatever. But if you can notice it first, that it's happening, notice that, okay, my thoughts are really dark right now, and trying to just go to being in the present, which is the easiest way to start to breathe in and out, and just notice your own breath. That's one thing that really helps to bring you to the present. Try to not think, go to the breath, and then feel what you're feeling. And so often it's physical, right? You can feel it in your chest, or you can feel it in your stomach, and then breathe and imagine it kind of releasing from you. That's how you let these things pass through you, rather than hold on to them. And then they come out again and again and again, and get triggered over and over again. But that's how you let it go. Okay. So that's just an exercise you can do when you get in that dark I'm at the bottom of a well, that, okay? But what they said was, we're learning a couple of things. And when when you feel powerless, it teaches you how to regain your power. It is that we talk about the polarizing that's here on the earth plane, right? There's the, you can feel love, you can feel hate, you can feel, kindness and compassion, you can feel, cruelty and unkind people. There's always this back and forth, this yin and yang about the earth plane. There's always these opposites happening. And when you feel powerless, it drives you to find or reclaim your power. If you've ever been in a relationship with an uneven power dynamic, you know that this is true, because you're wanting to reclaim your power when you feel like you're powerless. So there's that aspect to this. So they let me know, and I'm letting you know, that part of this is about how to reclaim our own power. Not just in the earthly sense, but in the spiritual senses as well, and to realize our own power, the power that we actually have. And in the earth plane, our power is, yes, individual power. So calling your senators, writing to them, showing up to vote. So there's these individual powers that we have, but our power in society is our power in unifying, in coming together. We found that with unions, right? They found that. We found this over time. Women getting the vote, civil rights, bringing, all of these things were done by everyone coming together. And that's another thing that we're learning. And we're going to learn in a big way. They said a big way, that when you come together, you have the power, and you have the power to change everything. And that is what is coming. So we're realizing that, we're learning that, and we're going to be learning that. And we've learned it to some degree, right? But we're going to be learning it in a huge way that changes everything, okay? So there's that. But we're also needing to learn our spiritual power. And this is the main reason for this video, because what my guide said was that we have absolutely no idea how powerful we are spiritually. That because we're in a physical world, a material world, to quote Madonna, we're in a material world, that we can, anything that we can't touch, see with our eyes, hear with our ears, it's that if we can't do that, it's not real. And what they're saying is that, and this is part of the new earth, is that we have to get past that. We have to move past that. A long time ago, several years now, I did a video after I had this experience with orbs. I did a video where we did an apology from white America to Black America. And the reason that video came about was because I was so upset about an act that had not passed after the George Floyd and Black Lives Matter movement. I was heartbroken for our country, but for the Black community. and I was sobbing and I was apologizing for some reason. I was just apologizing and apologizing and apologizing. And I continued to do this, and I went into the room where I would do orbs all the time, where I still do orbs all the time. And I had the ring camera out in there, and there was just this enormous amount of orbs that flew into the air. And I saw it as sparkles like on the ceiling. And I just thought I was tired and I needed to go to bed until I looked at the video the next day. But I immediately, when I saw it, asked, what is this? And my guide said that when we pray, when we apologize, when we do anything that involves true emotion, true conviction, and true intention, it moves energy. Energy actually moves. It does something, right? And that's just me that's me just as an individual, right? Let alone what happens when we come together and pray. Or pray about the same things, but even if it's, different times, we're all sending that up. But I couldn't see it on the night. It just felt like I'm just putting it out into the ether. I'm putting it out into the world. But when I saw that footage, it told me, but it does something. So we need to realize and understand our own power when it comes to prayer, when it comes to sending energy, when it comes to sending love and light. We have to understand that we have power, and we have enormous power. I was just tapping dinking on the surface of that. We have enormous power when we send out love and light and prayers with intensity and purpose and intention. Enormous power. And so the answer to this is so hard. What do? I am feeling like I am being buried into a well with all of the bad news. But those things are the answer. To notice and acknowledge and claim our power as not only as individuals, human individuals, but claim our power as a group coming together. And the other solution is to know and understand and reclaim your power as a spiritual being here on earth. Part of what we're doing, and part of because I get the question all the time, why are we even here? What are we even doing here? Why are we coming here to learn stuff we already know in the spirit realm? We come from a loving, kind, amazing, creative, free place. Why would we ever come and subject ourselves to all this? But the point is, and I'm sure there's more to it, but the point that I have been told is that this is a planet, because we're so creative. We're extremely creative beings. And you see that all over the place, right? There's creation everywhere, and even linear thinkers, they're still building houses and, figuring out math problems and all that kind of stuff. They're still creative, right? Scientists, super creative. So our creativity is everywhere, all over the earth plane. But one of the reasons, what we're doing is, so this world was created, right? A creation with the things we could learn in mind, the things we could experience in a different way to grow ourselves. And you think, well, we're already kind and we're already good. What are we growing ourselves into? As spiritual beings, there is unlimited potential, and we know that. And so we're trying to move into new phases of potential. And being able to know and appreciate who and what you are in a specific way is going to help us expand and help us to grow in a different way. You don't understand kindness fully until you've experienced hate and cruelty. You don't understand the importance of love and compassion fully until you've seen hate and no compassion, right? So this is a university for those souls that are willing to come here and learn in this way. It doesn't appeal to every soul. It just doesn't. But a lot of us, just so you know, we're the architects. We set the rules of this game. We set the rules of this place. We understood the rules of this place. And it's a very, very serious and huge undertaking to come here. We plan and talk and discuss and for ages before we actually come here. It's not a little thing. It's not like we just jump over and jump back. That is not what this is. It is a huge undertaking, and it is admired through the galaxies. Admired. And I feel like I'm just feeling this now, that some species or some they do not understand it. They're kind of like, why, like how we are when we're here. Why would we ever do this? That's how they are. It's like, why would you ever do that? It's so extreme. It's extreme. But we are kind of like the adventurers and the ones that really want to grow in a different way and fully understand ourselves as spirits in a different way. It doesn't appeal to everybody. But what we're doing now is it's kind of like, and I've talked about the kind of the lower level energies being kind of like a going out of business sale. If you want to experience them, come on in. And that's why we have a lot of new souls here. That's one reason we have a lot of new souls here. Like I said, I also got the message that having lots of older souls and lots of younger souls, we felt was a perfect dynamic to kind of push us over the edge into the, whatever you want to say, new earth, 5D, a different way of being here. But what we're trying to do now is bring in, because it's kind of like we've experienced all of it in a lot of different ways, and a lot of in every country, we've all experienced kind of all of these lower extreme things, and that's why a lot of them are bottoming out, like they're getting really dark and really yucky. But we've experienced that before, so nothing's new, really. It's just a different scenario and different scenarios. But it's also pushing us. And the push, like I said, is to kind of make us come together, make us find that part of us that is that spirit part of us, and bringing that in. So there's tons of awakenings happening, because now what we'd like to do moving forward is have our spiritual awareness that we're spirits, but be able to have this playground to play in. So in a way, we're changing the game, but we're doing it through the rules that we've set. So there has to be a certain way this happens, but we've set up the board perfectly to move us into this next phase. It's just that it's heavy and it's not easy. And it reminds me actually of a video game, because if you've ever played a video game, which I'm sure if you're in this generation you have, or I don't know about older generations, but this generation younger, you probably have. Um, but with every level it gets harder. And then in the last level, it's just like everything's coming, every monster that was in the thing, and you kind of have every tool and every thing to fight with, but it's a heavy, heavy, um, difficult. It's the most difficult, level, because you're going into either you're ending the game, right? You're ending the game completely, or you're going into a new phase of the game, right? And really, we're not ending the game completely, but we're we're gonna be realizing we're playing a video game. We're gonna be realizing right now we're unaware. We're in a video game. We know the characters in a video game don't know they're in a video game, right? The player does. And that's going to be the difference, is that we're going to be in a video game knowing we're in a video game. And that also opens up telepathy, dealing with energy in different ways, the way we can create here, the way we can communicate here, the way everything changes, and but we're ready. And part of it, I say we're bored, but it kind of is like that. It's kind of like we're over these scenarios, these darker energies. It doesn't make it any easier to see what people are going through and to understand what's going on and how countries are being wrecked and people are suffering and think it doesn't mean that is not happening. And but these are all catalysts to push us to change things. And it's also pushing people to awaken. That's the biggest thing, right? It's pushing people to wake up. And one of the big ways we wake up on the earth plane is through suffering. That is the way we break, when everything is stripped away and we realize we're not, and we surrender, something happens. Or we have a huge loss of some kind. And that desire to connect grows us hugely in our awakening. And these things are happening in mass to wake us up and move us into a better and happier and more wonderful phase, but also an unprecedented phase. We've never done it before. We've never been on the earth plane in this playground awake, all of us, right? But it has to happen through the rules of the game. So I hope this is helpful. I hope that I've gotten everything out that my guides wanted me to say. Sometimes I get off and I feel like, was that it? I guess that was it. But I hope that, yeah, so I hope this was helpful. And I'm going to be adding new appointments if you want one for a psychic reading. I don't know how long I'll be doing them, to be honest, because I feel like there may be something else coming, so I may stop them and start doing something different. But for right now, I'm going to add some. So if you want one, if you really want one, please grab one, because I don't want to them to be gone, and then for you to say I didn't know or whatever. I'm kind of giving you a heads up that this may be the last round that I add for a little while, just getting that feeling. So just letting you know. And then the other thing, and I think they're going to be like September, October, maybe even a little bit in November, but I'm not sure if I'm going to go to the end of the year or not. So we'll see. The other thing I want to let you know about is the 3 classes I'm going to be doing over the summer. One is going to be the New Earth class. I'm going to repeat that class. The other one is the empath class. I'm going to repeat that class. And then the new one is the orb class, where it's going to be like a lab. They're going to be short lessons, but we're going to be sharing footage as people get footage and talk about it. And I'll help to explain or give you information about what you're capturing. So that should be a lot of fun. That's going to be a smaller class, and that may be one that I repeat. If there's too many people, I'll have to repeat it, and so I'll let you know, about that as I send out the information. But all of those classes are done by donation, and let me explain what that means in case you don't know what that means. There is a suggested $25 donation. That is extremely inexpensive in this world. And there's a reason for that, because I want anyone who wants to take the classes to take them regardless of where you are financially. In my opinion, that should not come into it. Okay. So I'm offering these things as a service, really, because I want to help with the awakening process. And I also want to help with taking away our fear of the other side, our fear of passing, our fear of just being able to surrender, those fears that get in the way so often with our progress and our as Marie Manucherry likes to say, our magnificence. It keeps us away from our magnificence, the amazing spirits that we are. That fear can get in the way. But a suggested $25 donation means that it can be more than that. It can be less than that. It's all okay. And there is no judgment on my part. These are, like I said, I see even doing the donation as it goes to the channel, it goes to my time, but it also is just an energy exchange, right? We're giving each other something, and that's important in this arena. I know that there are people that want spiritual workers to work for nothing. And, I kind of foresee a day where something like that could happen for me personally. Um, I love it so much. I love it so much. And I want anybody and everybody who wants to be part of it to be part of it. Right now, my personal situation is I have to go back and forth to the UK. I live very simply and I'm happy with that. But we still have bills, and I want to do this all the time. I want to do this full time. I want this to be my thing. And, but I can foresee a time when everything will be I just want to do it, I'm not there yet financially in my life, but I also feel very, very strongly for my own, this is just for me personally, that I don't ask for anything above and beyond what I need, right? That's just me personally. I know that people are like, you should have all the wealth that you want. And that is perfectly fine. I do not judge where anybody else is. It's all good. It's all good and I know that the people I've had on the channel, I know the people that are the other readers that we all know and love, and they are wonderful, wonderful people. So I don't want to take away anything from anybody or what anybody charges. I'm just letting you know how I feel and where I'm coming from. And I hope that this explains that. And I won't bring it up again, but I just want to make this clear because I do want people to be able to take part and learn what they need to learn and do what they need to do to get through these times, but at their financial comfortability. Okay. So anyway, I love you all. I wish you a very happy Easter. I'll be on tomorrow for the Sunday show to answer questions. So if you have questions, but just if you're interested in the summer classes, just send me an email. And I will put you on the list to get the information, and it tells you how to sign up, and that will come in May. And I think the first class will be in June, and then July, I think. So you'll have plenty of time to sign up and get the information and everything and make your decision. And then I'm also putting up more psychic readings. I don't do that many. I don't do that many. And I don't know how long I'm gonna keep putting them up, but I'm gonna do another kind of batch, and then I don't know if I'll have more after that. So if you want one, be sure to get one, okay? If you don't worry about it. It's not for you. All right, everyone. Take care. I will see you guys soon. Love you all. Have a great weekend. If I don't see you tomorrow, have a wonderful Easter. All right. Bye-bye.